Hello, everybody. So this is Angela Priven from Do It Yourself Health, and I'm here with one of my clients and a fellow coach who was one of my success stories. And I wanted to share this because she had SIBO, and this was just a different perspective. Obviously, everyone's different, and you have to sort of follow your own path, not follow someone else's path. But the reason I wanted to talk about this was just to open up your perspective on different ways of dealing with SIBO. I mean, there's really just this one way out there. You take the test, you get diagnosed, you take the supplements, you heal, but there's other ways. And I think that people forget how important lifestyle and habits are. So I wanted to talk to Leena about her experience coming to me, having symptoms, discovering she had SIBO, and how she dealt with SIBO without taking any antimicrobials at all. And I actually have a similar story where I did take antimicrobials. I had SIBO as well. I did take antimicrobials, but only like a third and for a fourth of the time that I was supposed to. And mostly I got rid of SIBO as well by just like nervous system regulation and habits. So I just thought it was really important to have this conversation and for Leena to share her experience. So thank you so much for being here.
Absolutely. I'm excited to be here. I want to be here. I feel like the world needs to hear all the different ways that we can, all the power that we have over our body.
Absolutely. So many options for healing SIBO. And it's a tough one because people get really stuck because they keep doing the same thing over and over again. So I want you to share with me your experience and your symptoms and why you came to me for coaching and what your struggles were.
Yeah. So since I was like 16, I've had digestive issues. I remember, and that's about when I got on the birth control pill to regulate like my cycle and whatever. I had fibrocystic breast. So the doctor said, this will help regulate all your hormones. Everything will basically be suppressed and you'll be fine. Um, and she was right. I mean, everything was suppressed, right? Like my cyst stopped growing, my periods were calm, and everything was calm, except for everything else in my body. Then I had massive like gut issues kind of from that point forward. So I was just dealing with chronic constipation. I was 16 years old. I was going to my friend's 16th birthday party. This might be TMI, but I like was like waiting to leave, and then we are gonna go ice skating, and I got a hemorrhoid. And I was like, oh my God, just from trying to use the bathroom at 16. And I had to go to my friend's 16th birthday party in so much pain. So, anyways, ever since then, I was kind of dealing with gut issues, but it was kind of on and off through my teens. And then when I got off the pill, I was just chronically bloated all the time, just feeling like and that was at like 21 or something, feeling 6 months pregnant all the time. I was very active, like lifting weights and all that stuff and eating right and whatever. So it was frustrating to like feel like there's a part of your system that's just not responding to all the healthy habits that you're giving it. I was walking 10,000 steps a day, going outside every day, journaling, like all these different things for a season. And I always just felt like what used to be a really strong stomach was no longer. But I also chalked it up to some of my unhealthy habits, which was like binge eating, restrict and binge cycles, which I did go through a pretty significant period of time with. So after that, I kind of just brought all foods back, tried to heal my relationship with food, and all foods back in meant nothing off limits. Everything was allowed and there was no restrictions on me. So I lived like that for a very long time, got into coaching myself and worked on like habit and behavior change with my clients. So how to stop overeating, how to find what we call like your happy weight, right? Like level out in a weight that you feel good at, without chronic dieting or anything like that. Fast forward to a few months ago, maybe 6 months ago now. And I was just telling my husband, like, I don't know, this just doesn't feel right. At this point, I shouldn't feel 6 months pregnant every single night. And I shouldn't have pain. It shouldn't hurt to use the bathroom. I shouldn't have to go 4 days without using the bathroom. I just like something is not right. So I had gone to a gastroenterologist before, nothing came of it. I mean, they told me I had IBS and to take Miralax, which I didn't do. And I just kind of like walked away and said, what am I going to get from this? My husband was like, okay, we're not going back to the doctor, but let's like find someone else you can work with. And of course, the internet is full of gut health coaches. There's so many. And I'm gonna like err on the side of Instagram. So I'm like looking at Instagram and all these people with very expensive programs and very like big group like courses that they're selling or things like that. And I was just like really nervous to invest in something and not really get that one-on-one support that I felt like I needed and wanted, or get any value, just have like a blank course that I kind of have to go through and still be left alone to decide what I'm going to do. So anyways, my husband did his own research, and I don't know how he found Angela, but he was just Googling his heart away and finds Angela and her blog posts and everything like that. And he's like, you need to work with her, like read her story. He watched some of your client wins on YouTube, one or two of them. And he was like, this feels right. Like she's going to do the testing for you. She's going to find out what it is, and she's going to set like a practical plan, which I'm very much on the practical nutrition side of things. I want things to be really easy, really seamless. I just want it to make sense. I don't want like any fluff. I want it to make sense. And I respect everyone's story, but I don't want a protocol given to me by someone else's story, you know?
Yeah.
Someone else saying like, I took antibiotics or I took these exact herbs and you have to do this exact protocol because it's what I did and it worked for me. Same thing with like weight loss and dieting and binge and restrict cycle. Someone saying this is the exact process that worked for me, so now you have to do it. Well, I'm a different person than you. You know, I have a different lifestyle. Nothing's the same. Um,
That's why I test, because everyone's different.
exactly. Yes. So I'm sitting there and I'm like, I have something. I either have SIBO or I have um H. pylori. I wanted to have something. I was like, my symptoms are too severe for it to be nothing. Um, so I was really nervous actually when I started working with Angela and she sent me the tests. I was like, everything's going to come back negative and it's going to be all in my head and there's going to be nothing wrong with me and I'm going to suffer with this constipation and bloat for the rest of my life. Um, okay, where are we now?
So, yeah, so the test came back positive for SIBO, right?
Mhm.
Not hugely positive, but it was positive for SIBO. But we also did something called a hair tissue mineral analysis test. And this is the test that I actually took 20 years ago to heal. And I run this now with my clients because it's important to know that they have SIBO or H. pylori or some other gut infection. It's important to know what they have, but the hair tissue mineral analysis test tells us why they have that. Like, what is it that put their body into the right condition, this vulnerable condition to develop these things, right? Because a healthy body self-heals, right? When it doesn't, there's a reason, there's a stressor. So the HTMA finds a stressor. So we do the HTMA, and it's always a wake-up call for my clients, because her test just showed a lot of stress and a lot of depletion and blood sugar imbalance. So really, it was kind of a check-in. My habits aren't working for me.
Yeah.
The interesting thing about Leena is, like, she's a coach herself. She's very motivated. So I didn't have to do too much coaching. I just needed to deliver sort of the picture and a plan. And she did
Mhm.
the rest, and she did even more than, than I even expected. Go ahead.
You did a
Correct
little
me
bit
if
more coaching than you're leading on, but because
I-
in that first call, reviewing the HGMA tests and all the tests, um, you know, I I was forced to recognize that there was stressors that I wasn't acknowledging, and that it was having more of an impact on me, on my health than I thought, and that all of I was forced to be honest with myself about my habits and which ones weren't serving me. And Angela, you mentioned at some point in that call, you mentioned like, okay, because I was very open, like I eat dessert every single day. My family is around me. We're always surrounded by food all the time. And it's not like, of course, if I'm making food myself, sure, it's like a healthier treat. But if it's made with whole foods or whatever, but if it's my family, it's not. And it's not like I'm having like a baby portion, right? Because I mentioned that food freedom. Like if I wanted a big slice of cake, I would have one, and if I wanted to bring it home and have it the next day, I would. So it wasn't just like when I'm at my mom's house or when I'm at my in-laws house. It was like always at my mom's every single Friday, always at my in-laws every single Sunday, often bringing leftovers home Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday. Like it was just, and then maybe another social outing on it with friends or family on a Saturday. So that's majority of the week where we're having, I mean, 50, 80 grams of sugar in a sitting. It's not hard to do, right? So Angela mentioned like the idea of reeling that back in. It was like the processed sugars or anything that I knew was triggering me, which I knew in my heart and my soul that that was triggering me because on the nights that I wouldn't have it, I would wake up feeling so much better. On the nights that I wouldn't eat to fullness and I would like kind of go to 80%, I would use the bathroom in the morning. So I knew that there was triggers that I wasn't acknowledging. I knew that there were stressors. I knew that I wasn't acknowledging because I just wanted there to be something wrong. I just wanted it to be like, it's SIBO, take these. It's H. pylori, do that, right? Like I just wanted to be like, yeah, give me an antibiotic. I'll be good. Right? Just tell me it's what I need. I'll be fine. And I said, I'm not changing my eating habits, right? I told you that. I was like, I don't want no restriction for me. And you were like, then why are you here? Like it's not, it's not restriction. It's just healing. And it's not forever, but it was in that moment where, you know, we hung up the call and I just thought to myself and I was like, I can't believe I just said, I'm not doing what she recommended. Why am I sitting here? Why did I pay for this? You know, like, why am I, what was I hoping for from these tests to tell me like to take a pill? Change, I have to make change. And I just was in that moment where you were like, okay. Like I said, like, I'm not cutting anything out. And you're like, okay, well then here are all the supplements that you can take, you know? And I was like, okay. And then I was like, I can't believe I just did that. What are supplements going to do for me if I don't make an effort? You know, if I don't take that opportunity to then heal the underlying issue, if I'm constantly flaring that up, then with inflammatory foods and, you know, things that are not healing my gut lining, then what is the point? Or feeding that SIBO, then what's the point? So it was, it was, I don't remember exactly what you said or how you said it, but it was what you said that about it not being restriction, but being healing. And like what was important to me kind of in that moment that I was like, yeah, this is just, what is food if I don't have my health? Who cares? Like, who cares about, and this is from someone who was a self-proclaimed foodie my entire life. I love to bake. I love to be in the kitchen. I love to try bakeries. But I've over the years pulled back on that word love, right? And like, no, I love my family. I love like being healthy and taking care of my body. I like food sometimes, right? I don't love it. I don't live for it. And I think that was a big moment for me to actually put those mindset shifts I've made over time into practice and say, okay, I actually don't love this. I don't need this. What I need is nutrition, friends and family, shelter, right? Like those are my needs. And I think words matter and shifting that language was,
Mhm. Yeah,
you
you
put me in a place
prioritized.
where, yeah, go ahead.
You prioritized. That's all I said.
Exactly. Yeah, you would put me in a place where I had to kind of like face what I had to practice what I preach, right? If I have been saying my entire, you know, the last several years, shifting my mindset from love to like when it comes to food, from need to no, I don't, to want, right, with food, then it had to kind of, I was put in a place where I had to put that into practice in a different capacity.
Yeah,
And
and not just that, you changed other things. It was food, but you changed other things. You changed self-care, you
Mhm.
addressed your stress. I think it was a little bit of a wake-up call because there was just a lot of depletion and it wasn't
Yeah,
just sugar. I mean, sugar can deplete you, but it wasn't just sugar. And it was just, you know, it's awareness
yeah.
and kind of knowing, but saying, no, I don't, it's probably not a big deal. But then
Mhm.
the data says it is a big deal. These things need to change. We started changing them. And we didn't do herbs for SIBO because I thought this is not, it's not time yet. It's too much depletion in the system. We want to build it up first. And you started changing and you started building it up with the minerals that I gave you. And then the next thing I know, you're feeling fine. You don't even need the herbs. You don't need the killing herbs. Your body can do the killing itself. You have an immune system. You
Yeah.
just need to have the resources, the resilience
Yeah.
to do it.
Yeah. And I
But
really feel
yeah.
like I can feel my body, like I can feel the strength in my body. Like if I'm catching a cold or like I'm under the weather for a hint of a minute, it's crazy. I haven't gotten, knock on wood, I haven't gotten sick since we've started this protocol. Um, but I felt like I'm fight, and I always say I'm fighting something, not I'm catching something. I felt those moments of like fighting something. Even right now, I feel like the seasons have changed around my nephews who are, always around kids and oh, someone's always sick. And I feel like I'm fighting something, but I fully feel like I'm fighting it. I don't feel like I'm catching it. I feel like my body is so strong. It's so resilient. Like it's insane. Like I don't know. It's really crazy. It's a very different um feeling and it's very rewarding. It's very empowering to feel like I did that, like
You
I
did
built
it.
that strength.
You did it. And you did it because a lot of people just don't want to look at themselves, don't want to change. They want the supplements. But this is why I wanted you to come on here and tell your story, how important your lifestyle is. And that's why I started working with this test, which is a lifestyle test. It kind of measures, does your lifestyle work for you?
Yeah, yeah. And I
And
mean, it's so easy to lie to yourself and say it does, right? Like I work
right.
with people every day that come to me and they're like, I drink 12 cups of water a day, I eat vegetables, I'm healthy. And I'm like, okay, let's take an inventory, see what's going on, right? Because I believe you. I believe that your intention is health. Of
Mhm.
course, right? But I also believe that life is hard and change is hard and all these different things happen every single day that take us out of our intention or our actions don't align with our goals all the time. So it was a wake up call for me to say, okay, like, yeah, sure. I cook at home 80-90% of the time, right? That's not my end all be all. And I had to kind of like sit down with my husband and say, where are my stressors coming from? Like, let's be super honest right now. Where are they coming from? And how do we change that? So it was like my evening routine, my morning routine, my like deep, my breath work, which I'm telling you guys, I was like, oh, that's so foo-foo. I'm not doing breath, whatever. Um, no,
System regulation is key, top.
it's so important and it's crazy. And still I can just like, and it's better and better every day and stronger every day. I feel like practicing that muscle of nervous system regulation, but
Mhm.
feeling, sitting, I was mentioning the other day to Angela, like sitting in traffic and being able to be like, feeling that little flutter of like anxiety or stress or like, am I going to hit that red light? Am I going to be late? Am I going to make it? And then being like, oh, I can actually self-regulate this emotion in my body that I'm feeling with just a few deep breaths right now, right here. Um,
Thank you for sharing that because it's my theory after working with SIBO for over a decade that it's a nervous system regulation issue because motility is the underlying problem, right? And
yeah.
sometimes both are regulated by the nervous system. So thank you for sharing your experience of making changes. And it's so interesting because you're a habits coach, and this is such the teacher needs to learn, right? What they teach,
Mm-hmm.
and you're learning and you're teaching it and you're helping other people by sharing your story.
Yeah.
And I wanted to ask you, like, what other advice would you give to others in your situation?
I would first say like, if you can, testing it gives you the outside pair of eyes looking in that's very objective, right? Like there's no guesswork, there's no nothing. So if you can manage testing with somebody that can read and analyze your tests, then do it. I knew that I could sit there and order an HTMA test, but I also knew that I would know not what that said. I work with my clients on habit and behavior change with nutrition, right? Like I don't know how to read an HTMA test. I've never done it before. So be honest with yourselves about those things and ask for help, and it's worth the investment. So that'd be my number one piece of advice, but then also to say that you're stronger than you think you are. And to say like, to make a decision and say, I'm going to do this, I'm going to eat this way, and I'm going to practice these habits. I'm going to practice going to bed at 10 p.m. and not having my phone off by 8:30 and reading a book for 30 minutes and whatever. I'm just going to do these things. It's not because you want to. It's not because it's easy. It's not because, we're perfect or because we are the picture and epitome of wellness. It's because you have no other choice. Right. And like every other muscle in our body, we have to strengthen it and we have to practice. So discipline is the same thing. It's just strengthening that discipline muscle and practicing that discipline muscle. And even if it's not perfect and it's like, let's say I wanted to wind down by 8:30, but it starts at 9, whatever, fine. Then I'm starting at 9, and tomorrow I'll try again for 8:30. So it's just like being imperfect, but moving forward anyways, practicing discipline. It's the only thing that you have, guys. Like it's the only thing we have control over is whether or not we keep the promises we make to ourselves.
Yeah,
And
and you know what makes discipline easier is just like your why. You care about this.
I,
You understand why you're doing it.
yeah, which I think is also a huge benefit to having a coach or having someone that you paid is like I was telling Angela this other day, it's like my clients have always said, I've always kind of looked at my clients like, wow, that's so amazing. Like, I'm so proud of you for handling that situation that way. And they would be like, oh, well, like, I knew I was going to talk to you in a few days and I wanted to make you proud or whatever it might be. And I never like, I was like, what do I have to do with it? Never understood that until I was like, yeah, I'm going to make Angela proud in 3 months when I talk to her. There's no way I'm getting on that call and not feeling better. There's no way, you know?
The
Um,
power of accountability.
yes, accountability, investing in yourself and wanting that investment to pay off. Um, which was easy for me because I come from a place of I have a budget and I need to stick to it. And if I'm going outside of that budget, it better because it's worth it, So I was like, if I'm going outside of my budget and I'm making my husband put this investment into, and we're doing this for the betterment of our family's health, then we better make it worth it. Which 100%, by the way, everybody, it has been like my husband is now taking the probiotics and immunoglobulins and the minerals and feeling much better. Like stress and like mood regulation and energy is all leveling out and much, much better. My mom is, I was telling Angela the other day, going through breast cancer treatment. She's going through chemo. She's taking both of the probiotics that you had recommended. She's taking a couple of other supplements, and I swear her journey through chemo has been easier than what we were anticipating and what we've expected because of her gut strength right now. I really, truly believe that.
Amazing. That makes me very happy how it sort of kind of,
Trickled down.
yeah, yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
So, I thank you so much for being here and your story basically, just I always say it's awareness and the power is in your hands when you know what to do, you can choose to do it. And SIBO is conquerable. A lot of people out there think it's not,
Yeah.
but it is. And it's not just it's not just from taking supplements.
Yeah.
There's just much more to that. And thank you so much for sharing how you got rid of SIBO without taking any pills, supplements at all whatsoever. And
Thank
I think,
you.
and I want you also to share how people can find you if they want to also do habit change.
Yes, I'm at practical.nutritionist on Instagram or practical nutritionist. Oh wait, yeah, practical.nutritionist on Instagram or leenaabednutrition.com. So you can find me in either of those places. And yeah, I love what I do. And I love that I got to work with Angela to put me in a better place to do it.
I follow you on Instagram now and you make the most amazing recipes and you just make it very exciting and fun and easy.
Yeah, that's the goal. Thank you so much.
Yeah. Yeah. And you know what? I love cooking myself and I don't know if you know this, I published like two like low sugar treat books. I'm gonna send
Yes,
them
I
to
actually
you.
did know that because my husband told me. because he saw it on your
I'm gonna
website.
send them to you
I
as a
would
little
love that.
Christmas gift. Yeah,
Oh,
yeah,
that's so
yeah.
sweet.
Because, as you know, balance is important and you should be able to have your treats, your healthy treats, and
Mhm.
not make your gut blow up. So,
Yes, I appreciate that. That's so sweet.
power of food. It's sweet, but
Well,
healthy.
yes, I love that. I
Thank you
love
so much for taking the time.
Thank you. Thank you so much.
Absolute pleasure. I love working with people that are so motivated. Thank you for spreading this message of hope and options and what really counts. And healing
Absolutely.
your gut.
Thanks.